What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we're going to be doing a response to an open tag from Lefty EDC. Check my boy out if you're not subscribed. Let's get into it. So, Lefty did an open tag for top 3 carried knives of the year. And this was really tough because I think, a fairly good job rotating through my inventory, with the exception of when I'm trying to review a knife. I will carry that a lot consecutively before I pump out a review so I can talk to it, with some good background and an in-depth review of it. But having said that, I was actually able to come up with my top 3 carried for the year. And I have an idea for a different open tag that I'm going to do after this, but let's go ahead and jump into the knives without any further delay. So coming in at the number 3 spot are going to be the Demco AD2025. So it is a combination of the two that landed in the number 3 spot. These are probably my favorite knives that I carried the absolute most last year, and they are rolling right into the new year without fail. So I do have both variants. This one here is the S35VN BGM regrind, skiff bearings. These scales are made by Carbonize on Instagram. You cannot buy these anywhere online. They do fit the larger size pivot. I do have the 80s camo carbon scales on here, and I also have the titanium back spacers that you can find on Knife Center. I can't remember the name of the manufacturer, so hopefully future me, you can throw that up here to help everyone out. And I have the Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip. I love the style clip, by the way. It's really nice for this. It carries deep in the pocket. It holds well for me. I have no issues. It has really good strength, and I really do like it on this model. I did strip and re-anodize it. I'm still recovering a little bit from the sinus infection I had a few days ago, but I did strip and re-anodize this, and I just really like this knife. Now, I know a lot of people are upset because it doesn't have a detent, right? So if you try to open it like you're overcoming a detent, it just feels mushy in hand. But I've mentioned this in a couple of videos now. If you really just lean into or push into the scale of the knife with your finger, and then you deploy it, same thing here, push in towards the handle, but push the blade towards the handle and then flip it. It is satisfying. It doesn't create a detent. It just allows it to feel snappy in hand. And I love this blade shape, this utility shape here. Really good cutter, especially now with the regrind on there. It is super slicey. Now, I did set up the 3V variant of the clip point a little bit differently. I went out and got a set of original goat scales that I did anodize myself. I really like the way that these scales look, the way they feel in hand, how comfortable and contoured they are, and I love the way that the anodize that I did came out. I did decide to switch to just the smooth back spacer, and I didn't do anything but polish it up a little bit. I didn't want it to be shiny. I kind of wanted it to match the pocket clip, and then I did anodize that. I think this is at 30, if I recall correctly, for the back spacer and the pocket clip. So 30 volts on a DC power supply. This one too also has skiffs in the pivot. Very smooth for both of these knives. Now, the titanium does add a little bit more weight than the carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is super lightweight, extremely strong and durable, though. I don't think people in the community appreciate carbon fiber that much. I mountain bike. They make whole downhill, enduro, all mountain style, full suspension bikes completely out of carbon fiber because they are so lightweight and so strong. But there is a difference here between the two as far as the weight, and I appreciate both. And the clip point here is really good for puncture task. They did put enough flat here for it to do well on push task, but for the utility cutting and things of that nature, it's not as good as the shark foot. Now, I do like that both of these are very well made. They're Taiwan made knives from an American designer, which I really do like. I did have the AD20S, but it was set up exactly like the 20.5 that I have here, except it had the shark foot blade on it. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a great size, but I ended up ultimately trading off that to get my Arius. And the Umazon is not on this list. A bit of a spoiler for what's coming up, but my Shaman and my Umazon are not on the list. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that I do EDC these a lot during the week because of the size and the fact that they still, even with the larger hands, are very good for me ergonomically. I'm very tight in here, don't get me wrong, but it is still comfortable. It has good contouring. I'm locked in a good position with these. So for cutting tasks and things of that nature, I really like these a lot. The weight's good for daily carry, and because of the slim nature and smaller size or more compact size of the medium knife, I'm able to carry other gear, which is important to me because I use a pen a lot. I use a flashlight occasionally, but I like to have it for when I need it as opposed to not, with an organizer and a wallet. So the knives share all of the pocket time, and I actually have it with me, generally with a leather wallet. And I like leather so that when it's hitting up against the knife, it's not like an aluminum wallet that's going to cause any type of damage. And you can see here, you know, as things rub across it, it's just going to conform. And I really kind of like the way that leather patinas anyway. But we're back to the knives. Those are the number 3. Really like these a lot. I still am carrying them a ton. I know there's a lot of hot newness out there, but now that they're offering it with S35EN, a premium steel, I think there's something out there for everyone, right? You can get D2 if you want great edge retention. You get AUS-10A if you want something that's corrosive resistant at a good price point, heat treated well, so that it's going to have decent edge retention. A lot of people don't like AUS-10A, but the heat treat on it is like 60 to 61 almost, or 59 to 60. I can't remember what it was that I saw over on Transparent Knives, because he's done a bunch of them, and he's, you know, saying they're pretty consistent 59 and a half, 60, which is good for AUS-10A. It's going to hold an edge like a VG10 steel. So let's keep it moving. The number 2 knife on the list is going to be one that I picked up this year pretty recently, but it has made quite the impression, and that's the EMP EDC Relative. And there's a few reasons that I like this. Bestech did a great job. I really like the design on this one. It resonates with me a lot, and so much so that I actually have ordered the drop point variant with the black washed handle for the second batch. Yes, I actually want 2 of these, and when it usually comes with 2 different blade styles, that is a reason for me to justify that I can own 2 of a knife that I like this much. And I really like this because it's super comfortable. The choil is actually very functional. I can get all the way up to the second knuckle without getting up to the edge, which is great for push cuts and for detail work that you're using out on the tip. It's really good with the pinch grips. You can use the full flat grind out here on the compound grind. The flat out here is really nice, has decent strength to where you can do package openings and things of that nature, not really worried about it. This one here is the 20CV variant, and it seems like Bestech continues to do a good job on their heat treat. If I had to guess, I would guess this was somewhere around 60, 61, the way that it's holding onto the edge with this full hollow grind. I mean, full coming all the way up to the fuller. It is very slicey. It glides through materials, and even the flat out here with the compound is pretty thin, and it does a good job cutting through tape, opening packages, things of that nature. The extra thickness on this is a tad thicker than the Nimble X made by QSP, and I actually like this because these shorter handles offer less grip surface because of the fact that you're able to get more finger across the knife and come up, so you end up almost kind of wrapping on the Nimble X versus here on the Relative, because it's chunky. When I go into my natural position, my fingers land on the micro crossbody milling here, which is really well done. It's nice because it's not super aggressive, but it's enough there where you have the ridge to grab onto for additional grip. I would say the only thing I'd like to see is if he would just move the relief cuts to the inside and create a little landing pad, since it's not reversible, so it's not left hand friendly. I think that would make it really nice going in and out of the pocket, because I do feel it kind of tugging or skipping across the ridging. And if you hit it at a little bit of an angle, which is easy to counteract. You just don't do that, right? Sometimes I find that I'm kind of catching that a little bit on the pocket if I'm pulling forward too much instead of straight up. Access to the lock bar is really good on here. It looks tight, but the way that it's cut out and milled and contoured, it's really easy to get my thumb in there. It is very easy to get the index finger in there. And if you do like the European locks and you just want to slide over, that one's probably the most contact surface and it works really good. You have multiple means of deployment. You have a very well done pill hole shape for opening. Pill hole, what did I say before? Pill hole shape. I like to insert the finger and kind of come at a little bit of an angle as opposed to going straight out with the reverse flick. So I kind of like to catch this part of the finger for the opening. I do that with all my knives though. So really good thumb and finger hole opening, and it has a very snappy detent, and it is a little aggressive, the detent for the front flipper, so you may feel like you're fighting it a little bit on the open, but I kind of feel like that is just a bonus means of opening the knife, so I'm not really too upset, and I think it works just fine for the occasional alternative means of opening the knife. I did install skiffs here, but the factory bearings were just fine. They worked really good. I did get the solid looking color or all monochromatic looking color because I really like the classy look of it. Very clean lines. I feel fine carrying this into the office if I had to open it. Just not to draw attention to myself. If I needed to get into something, it'd probably be something I slow rolled, got into my package, and probably slow roll closed and put away. I wouldn't fidget because it has pretty pronounced sounds that I do like. So very crispy sounding, great design, great ergos. I really like this a lot. And it was pretty close to being my #1 carried knife so far this year. It could change by the end of the year because I picked up some grails and some things recently that I hadn't had as long. But this also could end up being one that I carry the most throughout the year because I really am enjoying this knife. This is definitely, in my opinion, for me personally, EMP EDC's best design. Best Tech did an outstanding job with the execution. I think this is the perfect thickness. I love the hollow grind. I love the means of deployment for this particular knife. I don't even care that it doesn't have a back flipper tab. I don't miss that at all. I really like the jimping on this. This is just a really well done knife, and it's offered at a pretty good price in my opinion for what you're getting. But that's #2. Let's keep it going for the #1 knife, and there's a couple of different reasons why this is #1. That is going to be my Quiet Carry 9. This knife is a home run for me. I really like the simple design, the chunky nature of it because it is a thicker design top to bottom. So ergonomically, it's very comfortable while still being slim and carrying really, really well in pocket. It has contouring on it that is just enough contouring to help it feel like it's really hand filling, which I like about that, but it's the combination of the thickness and the contouring that is working here for me on this one. I like the very straightforward design, clip point, very clean lines on the body, very subtle inlay here with the black micarta on the silver, and I love that yin yang look. I think it's very, very classy. Again, another knife that if I had to carry into the office or into a restaurant and somebody needed me to cut something for whatever reason, can't think of it off the top of my head, but for whatever reason, mostly a package opening at work, but out and about, I couldn't tell you. Maybe my wife needs me to cut a piece of string off so it's not, you know, pulling the thread, making the situation worse for her. But this is one, no issues pulling it out and deploying it. While it has great sounds, it's not overtly loud compared to the relative. Like, it has good sounds, but it's very subtle by comparison. Also, I think it folds very well, nice and compact. This one a little bit smaller, I think, or maybe right around the same size as the relative. Let me see really quick. You know, I don't think I've ever done them side by side. Yeah, so I mean, just to go shorter in the blade length, and a good deal shorter, I would say, in the handle length. But again, the way they go about this, they give you the forged choil for the extra grip. Here, you're kind of using the entire handle, so you don't need as much blade in order to get a choil in there. So there's a little bit of difference in approach there. But because of that, I'm able to get all four hands on here and a relaxed grip very comfortably. I do wish the jimping was just a touch more aggressive, but it is fine, and it does stop in a good place right here behind the thumb studs, where I'm most likely going to use it for the detail work. It came with an okay factory edge. I found that I did end up having to resharpen mine to get it as slicey as I would like, and it came out really good, I think. I really am happy with the performance of this. Now, you can tell I carry it a lot and use it a lot because you'll see that there are some marks on the blade from the different types of material that I'm cutting. I'm trying to find it in the camera so you can see it there a little bit. And that's the disadvantage to like a satin finish here, or a polished finish, sorry. It's not mirror polished, but it is polished and it shows everything. So you're going to see those types of scars and scratches and things as you use it. It had really nice factory bearings, but I have to admit, with the skiffs on this one, it improved the action to where it is damn near a guillotine. I mean, it is so smooth on the close and absolutely no feedback to be felt through the knife at all until it closes. And then you just feel a slight click in there. So very, very smooth action. And that's what I equate it to. Very nice lock bar access here, nice and chamfered. And you have a little bit of a knockdown in here so that you can get into it very easily. Now this one's the opposite, starting with that European style lock disengagement where they're kind of opening and closing the knives like this, I guess, in Europe, because a lot of the European style knives come with that flat jimp to where you put your hand on it and slide it over. For me, because of the way that it's rounded, it's actually the least comfortable to disengage that way. But when you go to disengage it from the side and when you go to lift, it is super comfortable for that. Just my absolute favorite, and the icing on the cake was this is a gift from my wife. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, I like the knife. The knife, I think, is the main reason, but because it is a little sentimental and it's from my wife and I like it so much, that's why I think it's been in the pocket the most. I forgot to mention, pocket clip on this one's perfect. The relief cut is so far back and it's inside with a little bit on the outside, which is a little different. You see it's on the inside and the outside, but that is really well done. This thing goes in and out of the pocket so well, and it is not reversible, but I feel like they probably could have done it reversible, maybe. I'm not sure that a notch on this would be as clean looking, so I kind of get why they didn't, but man, just like this checks all the boxes for me for an everyday carry, not a heavyweight, not a hard use knife, just an everyday carry knife. So number one was that Quiet Carry 9 from my wife. Love that knife. Number 2 on this list is definitely this Relative from EMP EDC. I can't even wait to get the drop point. I'm super excited about that. And then number 3 continues to be the pair of Demco AD2025s. These are just really good hard use EDC knives. Like, I have no bones about using these hard. I feel confident in the lock. There's no play side to side, up and down. And with those BGM regrinds on there, I really am happy with this knife. I feel like these builds are complete and are perfect for me, and I'm just really happy with them. So this is an open tag. Anyone out there that would like to do their top 3 most carried knives on the year, I don't think it's a super original video. I think it's just fun to do tags. Last time I did 2 and 1 had already been tagged and the other one had not. So I am going to, no, I'm just going to leave it open. Open tag. If you like the video, have fun with it. If you're a content creator and you like the video, have fun with it. Shout out to everyone out there that likes, subscribes, and regularly comments. I really appreciate that because it does help the channel. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.